Hello, friends. Welcome back to the Overshare Hour. We are your hosts, Mackenzie and Jubilee. How are you doing this week, Juby?
Oh my gosh, I'm so tired. But but it's okay. I feel like I shouldn't be tired because I haven't even told you this yet, Kens, but I
Okay.
impulsively bought an Aura ring last
What is
night.
an aura ring?
What? You
Yeah,
don't
what's
know
an...
what an Aura ring is? Okay. So it is this nifty little ring. You know how I have my Garmin watch for running?
Yeah.
It's kind of like that, except it's a ring. So it tracks your sleep, your
Ah!
heart rate, your steps. It's amazing. And
Shut up.
no, I love it. And I feel like I'm still going to use my Garmin when I run because that's the best for running and accuracy and stuff. But this one is really good for sleep and energy levels. So I woke up this morning, it told me the exact amount of time it took me to fall asleep, how long I was asleep, and it gave me a readiness score.
What?
So it is telling me how ready I am for the day. And based on that, it says, go do a hard workout. Or if you're not that rested, it'll tell you to take it easier. And I'm just very excited about my
Oh
ring.
my gosh.
Yeah, and I woke up this morning and it said that I was super ready for the day and got great sleep. And I'm like, doesn't feel like it. I feel,
I was just going to ask, how accurate did it feel?
I'm exhausted, but I think that's just me. And it's the end
Yeah,
of the week. So
it
yeah,
is.
it ended up being good though. I had a work thing that I was worried about and it ended up being great.
Oh,
So
okay.
I do feel good about that. But how are you doing today?
Good. I'm okay. I'm on my period and it's like the worst one ever. So I had like a terrible migraine yesterday and I got super mad today and just like posted a mad post on TikTok where I was like, why do women, like, why are we not valued more? Like, we live in a world and a system that hates us. Our healthcare system doesn't care about us. The government doesn't care about us. And we carry the weight of the world on our shoulders. People with uteruses literally give birth to everyone that exists on the planet. And we bleed profusely once a month and still conquer the world. And how are we not valued? Like, for, and also, not just undervalued and underpaid, but overworked and oppressed and constantly being pushed to achieve more and to reach a higher standard because we're constantly trying to just be equal in our society. And we do everything that we do, keep our families afloat, our lives afloat, chase our goals and dreams, work our 9 to 5s. And we're also supposed to be beautiful, uh, like by society's standards, right? Like whatever that is,
Specifically.
attain that standard of beauty and super skinny and really just always put together. And I'm just over it. So I'm just walking around the
I
world
love
and I'm
that.
like, I only want to talk to people who have uteruses today. Like, I don't want to talk to, if you don't have a uterus, don't talk to me. That's how I felt all day today.
That is so funny. Oh, I'm so
Yeah.
sorry. No, I've been there. I've had those bad days.
Yeah.
So, oh my
Yeah.
gosh. No, it's true. Give us a medal. We earned it.
I
Life is
agree.
hard, guys.
Yeah. Actually heard someone on TikTok say this. It was a man, and he was saying, like, talking about how women do the things that they do while they're bleeding profusely. And he was like, imagine that, fellas, like that you got stabbed, you bleed just constantly all day. Like, could you do it? And he was like, I mean, really think about that. And I was just thinking, if everyone who didn't understand could just think about it for 5 seconds, they would be like, women.
Women.
Women and people who have uteruses. Like, you guys kill it every single day.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's how I feel. But I'm okay. I'm also really happy it's the weekend. Really happy. So, yeah. All right. Let's get to it. Rant over. Thank
Rant
you for
over.
listening.
We're not therapists.
Oh, yes,
And
Julie,
this
are we
is
therapists?
just, no, we are not. We are
No.
just giving our best advice, what we can come up with in this exact moment.
Yeah. So cheers to that. I'm going to take my first sip of wine.
Do
Happy
it.
Friday.
Happy Friday.
And then I am going to read the first submission. Are you ready?
Yes.
Okay. So this one makes me mad. And it says, my boyfriend accuses of me of being too sensitive whenever I bring up how he flirts with other women. He says I'm imagining things, but he also follows them all on Instagram and likes their bikini pics. Am I overreacting, or is he gaslighting me?
It's not funny, but it's funny how horrible he is.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, you're not crazy. He's definitely trying to make you feel like you are crazy. And I would lose my ever loving mind. I think I have a hard time even picturing what that would be like to, I can't imagine being in public and brand flirting with a woman in front of me. I would lose it. That's so crazy. And then on top of that, for him to be following all of these people on Instagram, I tell me how you feel, Kens, because I could not handle if I went to Brand's follower list and it's a bunch of women and he's liking bikini pictures. Absolutely not.
Yeah. No.
Absolutely not.
I would never be able to do that. And I think what really even sent me over the edge more with this one is that it sounds like they know these people because, like, maybe they're friends or closer acquaintances. They see them out and he's following them. So it's not even, I think it's enough.
Yeah.
If you're following women who are not your partner on social media and liking all of their bikini pics, I would say I wouldn't like that in my relationship, even if you didn't see them out in the wild. That would bother me. But it's also the fact that they know these people and they're seeing them and hanging out with them together, and she's watching his interactions with them and then is also seeing him looking at all of their photos and liking them. I mean, come on. He's gaslighting you. You are not crazy. No one would want that.
I know, and I try to imagine how awkward would that be if it's your friends.
I know.
It's your friends. That would make me so uncomfortable. Just even, because then it just makes you feel a level of insecurity that you would hope that you don't feel with your close friends. So, yeah, you are not crazy, and I do think that he is gaslighting you by saying you're too sensitive. That's wild. I hate that phrase to begin with. You're being too sensitive, because people have their feelings. Don't get me wrong. People can let thoughts run away with them and have, anxious attachment and stuff like that. But this is a valid boundary to have. And yeah, I could not handle that.
No, and also if you think about it, when people say this, like, oh, you're too sensitive, you're taking it too far, like it's not a big deal. If it was her doing this and she was flirting with all of his bros, like they're out for drinks and she's like flirting with them and then goes on Instagram and is like liking their pictures or commenting, the fire emoji, you think he's just going to be like, cool, no big deal? Absolutely not.
Yeah.
He would be like, that's not okay. And it would be like a boundary for him as well. So it's really like, the fact that he's making you feel like no one in the world would feel this way and you're the only one who would feel like that, like that's what I think of, because he's telling her, oh, you're taking it too seriously, it's not a big deal. But if it was him, it would be, for sure. So no, you're not too crazy and you're not too sensitive, and you definitely deserve someone who isn't looking at the people around you.
Yeah, and Ken's, we actually used to know someone like this. Do you know who I'm talking about?
I know who you're talking about.
Yes, and it was always very uncomfortable. He would, I don't know. I don't even know if he did anything so blatant, at least not to me, but there was a vibe. There was an energy, and multiple women felt it.
Yeah.
And it was very uncomfortable to be around, and wife right there. It was...
Yep.
It was very uncomfortable.
Yeah, I know. I just think like they'll do it right under your nose, and then the second you notice it, they'll make you seem like you're crazy, and you're not. And there are people out there who will not treat you that way. So that's something that you need to know, is that there are people in the world who will not make you feel like you are not the person. Yeah. And if they're treating you that way, it's because they're not your person. You will find a person that is going to love you. So I know you weren't asking, but let him go. Cut him off.
Let him go. I don't like him. Doesn't sound like your soulmate to me.
No,
so.
Definitely not. All right.
Are you ready for the next one?
I'm ready.
I am super curious what you were going to say about this one.
Okay.
And my iPad died, so I'm reading this from my phone today.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Hey guys, I need some advice. I was hanging out at my best friend's house a few months ago at her and her husband's house. We were having a girls' night while he was out of town, and I accidentally spilled wine on their rug. We did our best to clean it, but there is still a big red stain. She told me that she wasn't upset about it at all and not to worry about it. Her husband can be a little rigid and uptight, so she suggested that we just rotate the carpet, that way that it would be hidden under the couch. Well, that worked for a couple of months, but apparently he moved the couch while he was cleaning and he saw the stain. He is now asking that I send him $600 for a brand new rug. I know that that rug is over 5 years old and it isn't in great shape to begin with. It had some wear and tear from their dogs, and I just feel like it's a little ridiculous for him to ask me to pay for them to get a new one. Accidents happen, and I would never make her pay for it if it had been her. In theory, I could afford it, although it would make things a little tight. I just feel like it's unfair of them to ask that of me. What do you think?
Okay. $600 for a brand new rug. Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
I would love to know how much the original rug costs. I mean, some of those rugs can be expensive if you go to, I don't know, Ashley Furniture or something,
Yeah.
but I don't know.
Okay, I think that's ridiculous. And I think he's mad and he's just trying to like, I don't know, he's being a meanie head. He's being a butthead about it. That's what I think. I think he's being ridiculous. Here's what I think would be reasonable. Okay, like if they really did think like, we really would like to keep this rug, like this really sucks, you know, it was kind of her responsibility that she spilled wine, whatever. Maybe being like, would you be willing to help us pay for a professional cleaning to see if we can get the stain out? Like, I would maybe, like if I did that to you, okay, and then you were like, do you think you can help me pay for a cleaning to see, because we can't get the stain out, like see if a professional cleaner, I would absolutely be like, yeah, I would do that. I don't know that I would ask a friend to do that, but what I think it's a reasonable ask without being like, what the heck is wrong with these people? Yeah, I guess I would say that's reasonable. But to buy a brand new rug when the rug is already old, like, no, right? And if it was that old anyway, and if it were my house and I had this old rug, okay, I just bought a new rug. It was $200 on Amazon, okay? And it's white, which is absolutely stupid. Like, why would I do that?
So
I have
pretty though.
four kids. I have 4 animals and 2 kids. But if you came over and spilled red wine on that, I would just be like, you know, like, and it's brand new. Like, I just bought it. You know, I'd be like, well, it is what it is, right? This is why we can't have nice things. Like, that's what I would say. I'd just be like,
Yeah.
and I invited people over to have a wine night and let you sit on my couch and you spilled wine. Like, if I didn't want wine to get spilt, then I would have served you white wine. You know, like, that's just how I would feel about it, honestly. But I would also not cut my friend off if they asked for me to help clean it. So I think that this is absolutely ridiculous, and you should in no way give them $600 for the rug. Like, I don't think that you should do that. Let me give an example. So I had many a wine night with a couple of friends of mine, and we would bring, when it was cold outside, we smoked hookah. So for people who don't know what hookah is, it's like a Mediterranean form of like social smoking where you have the like, what is it? Like, the bottom is like a glass piece, and then you have a metal piece on top, and you heat up coals, and you put the coals on top of the metal piece, and it heats up the shisha, which is like the tobacco on the inside, and that's how you smoke it.
And
So
Kenzie knows this because she worked at a hookah place.
I did
And she got us going to the hookah place. We don't go often because
Yeah.
it's not that good for you, I think.
Yeah, it's terrible
but
for
we go every once in a while, and it's so
Yeah,
fun.
It's fun, yeah. So we would smoke it while we were having our wine nights, and I one time was refilling the coals because you have to like burn new ones, and I dropped the hot coal. 2 of the hot coals like came out of the top of the piece, the metal piece, and one landed on their brand new couch cushion and burned a hole through the couch cushion, and another one landed on the coffee table that was like moved close to the couch itself and burned the coffee table on the top. And they have never once asked me for a dime, even though I was like, let me help pay for this. Like, how can I help? Like, I feel so bad. And they took the approach of, we invited you over here and we brought a hookah into our home and you were refilling the coals. It could have been any of us. Like, any of us could have done this. We're not going to make you, like, if we were that concerned about it, we would never smoke hookah in our living room. And that's kind of how I see it. I'm like, if you invite people over, if you have a house party and someone breaks a window, you don't make them pay for the window. You had the house party, right? Or am I wrong about that?
No, I do kind of feel that way. When I think about wine nights, what I initially thought when I read it was his wife could have just as easily spilled wine. Like,
Yeah.
I know that she didn't, but she just as easily could have. I mean, I
Yeah.
know that we've had game nights and we've spilled wine before, for sure. I mean, thankfully, we've been able to get it out, but it's not something so out of the realm of possibility. It's not like you have to be extremely negligent, like she was throwing wine across the room or something,
Yeah.
So yeah, I agree that if it was somebody at my house, I would, this is just how I am. I would feel bad that they feel bad.
Yes.
I'd be like, it's so fine. Like, who even cares about my rug? Like, my
I
rug
know.
is stupid.
I hate this rug anyway.
I feel like you did me a favor, and I really am that way. I'm trying to
know.
think, is there something I wouldn't feel that way about? And maybe my couch, because I'm like, that is expensive.
Yeah.
That would be hard. But I also think I would do everything possible to get it out, though, and OxyClean is amazing.
Yeah.
So I'm curious if his wife, because if I was the wife, yeah, shift the furniture, do all that. But did she go and OxyClean it the next
Yeah.
day? Because
You also can rent like the professional carpet cleaners, and those things work really well.
yeah, I'm like, you see videos like that on TikTok all the time where they'll purposefully, which that is a whole tangent, but they'll purposefully pour wine on the floor and they'll show you how well it works. So I think they should do that before they request a brand new rug. But
What would you do? Would you give them the $600?
you know what? And this is, I'm not giving this advice. I'm not, but I think if somebody was ballsy enough to ask me for $600 and was kind of rude, like, especially if I was intimidated by the husband, depends if we're like friends. If this is
Yeah.
someone I'm also friends with, then maybe I'd be like, hey, at least let's go splitsy on it,
Yeah.
because you've had this a long time. You were probably going to get another one at some point. Like, I'll give you 300. Does that sound good? Or I can pay for a cleaner to come. But if it was somebody that I already feel uncomfortable with, and it sounds like he's rigid. So I think this is my people pleaser coming out, is I would be thinking, she obviously hid it from her husband because she was worried about his reaction.
Yep.
So I would be thinking, how much do I care about our friendship? Which you said this is your best friend.
Yeah.
So I think I'd be weighing in my mind, is this worth it for me to possibly cause a problem in their marriage, or for him to be cold to me going forward because I
Yeah.
refuse to do this? I think I would be thinking about all of those things. And I'm not saying that's fair. And I'm not saying that he's right to do that.
Yeah.
I think if I wasn't personally close with him, I might pay it. But that's not my advice, though.
I know.
I wish I was a stronger no. That's unreasonable, but it's hard when it's your best
Totally.
friend,
Yeah, I would feel, I mean, Bran would never do this, but I, ever in a million years.
Yeah.
But I would feel the same way. I'd be like, and I'm friends with Bran. Like, I do consider
Yes.
him a friend. He's not just someone I don't know. So I would feel like, man, should I just do it? Like, I don't want this to come between us, but it isn't a reasonable ask, I don't think. And also, what I want to know is, like, is your best friend okay?
Yeah.
Because what?
It's giving me and Ted.
It's giving you and Ted. Because
Yeah.
what? If
Which
she's
is
the
why
kind of,
I was like, maybe I would pay it, because I've been on like the
Yeah.
other side of having an unreasonable husband.
yeah,
you
and if
know?
she's the kind of personality where she knows he's going to react badly, but her response is don't worry about it, like no big deal, then that seems to me like that's kind of who she is. Like she genuinely feels that way because she's feeling that way and acting that way even though she's maybe anxious, but she's still like it's all good. But then she also like is allowing him to ask, which makes me think like it's probably not a good situation for her.
Yeah.
Because if it was my partner and he was like, they've got to pay the $600, I'd be like, no, they don't.
Yeah,
You know what I
it's
mean?
giving head of the household
Yes.
kind of vibes. I wonder if he's religious or
Maybe.
if there's anything going on there, because there is that sort of vibe where the husband makes the decision and she might just be kind of,
Like, okay.
okay, well, sorry, he wants you to pay for it, you know?
Yeah.
Because, yeah, if Bran told, I'm trying to think, like, my sisters, like
Yeah.
during a game night, if they spilled anything, you think I'm going to ask my sisters to pay for something in my house? No. Like,
No, never.
whatever.
Ugh.
I'll figure it out.
Yeah.
So,
This is a really hard situation. And like Jubilee said, I think it would be hard for me too to decide depending on how, like, what the scenario is and what the relationships are. But is it reasonable? Absolutely not.
yeah, I agree. And actually, I had one more story. I actually
Yeah.
did spill wine at somebody's house once. No, I know. And it was recently. They were so wonderful about it. It was
Wait.
it was my besties that we have game nights with. You know?
Really?
Yes. So we were out in Corpus, and she listens to the show, so she's going to know what I'm talking
Hey,
about. but-
bestie.
Yeah, we went out to Corpus. His family has this place that pretty much any family members can come and chill, and it's really nice. And but it also is kind of like a beach house
Yeah.
vibe. So it's not, it's like a beach house. It's
Yeah.
fun. They go there to go fishing and everything like that. So while we were having a very fun wine night, and I think we had gone fishing at 1 a.m, and we were there till like 3 or something. Then we came back and we played games, and I 100% dropped red wine on their carpet. And this is like his family's cabin.
Like, it's not even specifically their house.
And I was like, oh my God, your parents, your grandparents, like they're going to be so upset. And I did not know what to do. And it was a very, they had thrifted it, because in my mind, I immediately was like, I will buy you another one. But I'm looking
Yeah.
at it and I'm like, this is a unique carpet. You didn't get this at Target. And he was like, it's fine. And
Yeah.
I was so embarrassed. But I asked a couple times, are you sure? Like, are you sure I will buy another? And he's like, it's fine. So now there is a red stain there. But they were so great. They didn't make me feel bad about it, because I think
Yeah.
it is that similar sentiment of it could have happened to any of us in
Yep.
theory. So
Totally, I agree. Sorry you're going through that.
yeah, try to find a compromise. Maybe that
Yeah.
might be my advice on that one.
Definitely. Ugh, that's crazy. Okay, are you ready for the next one?
Yes.
Okay. So this one says, I got divorced last year, and even though it was the right decision, I feel like I wear a scarlet letter. People either pity me or act like I failed. My ex was emotionally absent and deeply unkind, but he looked good on paper, so people don't understand. How do I stop internalizing shame that doesn't belong to me?
That is very real.
Yeah.
I think coming out of religious systems and these environments, divorce always felt like it was the worst possible thing that could ever happen to me. And it pains me to even say it out loud, because I don't feel this way anymore. But at the time, it felt like life's biggest failure was
Yeah.
to be divorced. And I remember I was on such a kick of, I would hear the stats of 50% of people get divorced, and you would hear that in church, you'd hear it at school, and I remember thinking, absolutely not me. It's not going to be me. I'm going to change the world with my marriage, okay? I'm never going to get divorced. And, sometimes you don't really have a choice, and it sounds like he was not good to you, and it was a bad situation. And similar for me and Ted, it got to a point where it was just unsafe to stay in that situation. And I think it's a part of growing up, honestly, because when you're younger, you see everything is so black and white. It's so divorce is wrong. I'm 100% going to stay married. But as you get older and your friends get older and you hear about their marriages and you hear how horrible they're being treated, things don't seem so black and white anymore. Once you realize I don't know how bad some of these situations can be and how they're crying themselves to sleep every night. And I've had friends, who feel like they're having thoughts of taking their life because they hate their marriage so much. And that's when you have to really do what's best for you and realize, okay, divorce is not the worst thing that could happen to me. And sometimes the worst thing that could happen to you is staying in these marriages. So as far as the Scarlet Letter, I totally get that. Pulling the trigger and deciding to get divorced, I truly thought that nobody would want to be with me once I got divorced, that would just be, I don't know, that you're marked forever. And I thought people will think I'm an unstable person, that I'm flaky, that I don't take love and marriage seriously. And I worried about that. But I will say, when you get into different circles, so this is kind of where my advice comes in, is getting into different circles where people are kinder and more compassionate, and not everybody feels that way at all. And I quickly realized that there were so many people who did not care at all that I was divorced. Not one bit. And
It's true.
it was this toxic sector that did care. And actually, some of that wasn't even as bad as I thought it was going to be. But I understand what you said when you said, and pity, because I talked about her some episodes back, that lady from Bethel. Gosh, that lady from Bethel who wrote me, one thing that she said in her message to me was, and I was praying for you because I know how hard it is for women to get divorced in the church. And I could tell she really pitied me. She really, really pitied me. And it's not a good feeling. But I would just try to create a community outside of those people, because it is hard. It's a hard thing to walk away from something like that. And I'm so proud of you that you decided now and didn't spend 20 more years in a bad circumstance. And at least for now, try to remind yourself that you know the truth. So all of these people who think he's wonderful and they think he's kind because he puts on a good show, at least at first, it might just try to make it be enough for you, that that, well, I knew him better than anybody, and I lived it, and I saw it, and that wasn't my reality.
Yeah, that's really good. And similar to what I was going to say at the end in terms of my advice, how do I stop internalizing shame that doesn't belong to me? I'm glad that you recognize that the shame doesn't belong to you. I think that's the first step in that. So if you don't know, or for anyone who doesn't know, Jubilee and I are both divorced. And we both came from high control religion where we thought, that was the worst thing you could ever do. And are both, grateful for the choices that we made. So I did deal as well with a lot of shame that was projected onto me. I feel like the way that I noticed it the most is that I lost my status with my ranking with my family. So I went from being this person that people really looked up to and adored to someone that pity really stuck out to me, because that's how I felt. I felt like people just felt bad for me and felt like I had backslidden, when for me it was an empowering choice that I had made. And that can be really confusing. When you make a choice for yourself that you feel is you taking back your power, or making a move in your life that's going to set you free to some extent, whatever that may be, or a choice that you're like, this is the path of my growth. This is what the choice I need to make in order to keep growing and become the person that I feel that I am, or that I can't be in this situation. I just feel like that can be really, really hard. It's like, I felt like I was wanting to shake my family members, or I was telling them, and when I was telling them why I was making the choice that I was making, I felt like they could never really hear what I was saying, because I was like, if you could just hear me, then you would know that this was the right choice for my life. And so it just felt like there was this barrier between myself and them. And so it took me a while to realize that shame didn't belong to me. And so the fact that you know that right now, I would say is really, really good and shows that you're in a really good place because maybe Juby, you can relate to this when you met Brandon, like some stories of y'all's, like the beginning of y'all's relationship is coming up in my mind, but a lot of this is choice. I feel like you make choices to feel a certain way or make actions in line with a certain belief or feeling, even though you're not quite there yet. Like I am going to choose to be stand in my empowerment even though I feel inside like I'm dying. Do you know what I'm
Yes,
saying? Like there's a
absolutely.
level of choice and then your feelings kind of catch up with that as you heal and you grow because that's a lot of how it was for me. Hi Junie, for everyone who doesn't know
She's
or is not
petting me.
watching. Whoever is listening, listeners, Juby's cat
She's so
June
cute.
has
Yeah,
become a real fan of sitting
she
on
has.
Juby's lap during these.
She's begging. She keeps petting me. Okay.
That's so cute. Anyway, yeah, so I just feel like I made a lot of choices when I was deep in shame and kind of, I don't know, it's like what is it where they're like, manifest your life? This is a little bit ridiculous, but you know, when it's like you act like you have the life that you have and then the life like catches up to you or whatever, or like you have to
Yes.
act first and then it'll kind of follow you. In this scenario, I feel like that really worked for me. I was really strong in my choice. I acted like I was strong in my choice and I did feel strong for myself, but I was also really wrestling with the opinions of others. And slowly but surely, while I still grieve the loss of those relationships in that way and the status I feel like I held in my family, I I just don't feel that shame on my shoulders anymore. And time helps with that too, I think. I think time and the more time proves to you that the choice was the right one. And as you grow, because you're still growing from this old life into a new life, and that middle part can be so weird and awkward and has its own trauma with it. As you grow into this new part of your life and grow into the choice that you made, I think it'll maybe naturally kind of shed as well. But what I want to hear, do you remember what I'm talking about with you and Bran?
Yes.
Can you talk about
I
that a little bit?
Yeah, so I knew that I had these beliefs and that I was changing, and it didn't lessen the stress that I felt during that time. So when I decided to date Bran, I was so horrified that everybody was going to judge me, but I just knew that it was the right choice for me at that time, and I was nervous. And actually, this was kind of crazy. Maybe I shouldn't have. No, you know what? I stand by my decision. But I told my therapist at the time about Brandon, and she kind of told me to not date him.
Yeah.
And what exactly happened? I think I said that we had slept together, and she said, what did she say? She basically said, I'm just looking out for you. And I feel like if you were a woman whose husband had died, I would feel the same way, because I would feel like you are stepping into something while you're still grieving and that it's not a good decision. So I walked away from that therapy session feeling really bad and also disagreeing with her. Like
Yeah.
something in me just didn't feel like that was true for me, and I felt good about Brandon. I felt like he might be my soulmate, and I was obsessed with him, and I really thought that, okay, normally that might be good advice, but not for me in this time. And I ended up seeing her again, and she actually apologized.
Cool.
And she told me that she was out of line and that she shouldn't have done that, you know. And she was a Christian therapist as well, so we definitely weren't really aligned. I know that she was seeing it as sin and I was not seeing it as sin. And then a lot of that discomfort as well came with me going on a trip for the first time. Fran and I went to Corpus for my birthday, and I totally kept it a secret. I didn't tell my parents that I was going, and we came back the day of my birthday. So we were there the weekend before my birthday, then drove back. And I think I had acted like I was at somebody else's house. Here I am, 26 years old, trying to justify to everybody, which I really don't even think that my parents cared. It was all of this very internalized shame and purity culture. And there was that aspect of fake it till you make it that you're talking about, of, okay, I'm making choices that feel very scary to me right now. I'm choosing to live a life that feels correct to me, despite the fact that I might be disappointing people, despite the fact that outside people may not understand. So going back to your question, you know that this was the right thing for you. And it does suck. I think like what you were saying, Ken's, about a lot of it's going to work itself out with time. I think that it's a messy time period. It really is. I feel like Kenzie and I both went through like this very messy, beautiful, painful, but also empowering time when we got divorced. And it was really good for us. And I have such a soft spot when I look back to that time in my life. And it really does just kind of work itself out with time. It's just a part of the process.
Yeah.
So I would say feel it all, you know, but try your best to just be thinking about how you feel in this moment and your decision, and really trying to focus on that empowering aspect of it.
Yeah, I could not agree more. And always, I know it's hard to do, but remind yourself that people's opinions of you are a reflection of their own worldview and their own beliefs. And there's an element of that you can have empathy toward, but it also, anger was my friend in my healing process. And so I was not in a way of like raging out on my family, but getting like that anger inside of me to say like, no, I get to choose my life. I don't have to define my life by the beliefs of other people, which was really empowering for me as well, because I had spent my whole life doing that. And these people that were looking at me in that way, or reflecting shame back to me, were still in that religious system. And so I had to empathize with them on one hand by saying, well, this is just what you believe. And I believed it for the longest time too. So how can I expect you to just believe something different for me? But also that anger in the sense of, and also I will not bow to that again, because it's easy you break free from that system and that belief for yourself. And then you kind of want to crawl back into that a little bit, because everyone else in your life is still there. And that is a hard tug of war to play, but you're on the right track and you'll get there for sure.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Right, are you ready for the next one?
I'm ready.
Okay. Hey guys, I need some advice. I have this mutual friend in my circle who constantly makes little comments that feel off. They're not straight up mean, but they're definitely passive aggressive. Stuff like, if I say that I went to the gym, she'll say, wow, I wish I had all that free time. Or if I get a new outfit, she'll say, oh, I could never spend money on myself like that. It's just constant little digs, but always wrapped in a way where she could claim that she's just joking or that I'm overthinking it. And it's making me feel crazy, like maybe it's just in my head. I don't know whether to call her out and risk looking dramatic or just to let it go and keep ignoring it. What would you do?
Ooh, okay. I do think that she's feeling envious of whatever it is that you're saying. I don't think you're crazy, and I don't think you're overthinking it. The reason I feel this way is because I've experienced it in my own life. So I know that feeling so intimately, of being like, I'm trying to share this thing. And every time I share a thing, even though it seems small to me, somehow it's like a covert problem. It feels like it feels like a problem. It's passive aggression, it feels like. And so I would say that you can trust your gut, that probably there's something under the surface. I don't think that this person hates you or is out to get you. I think they probably just really would wish those things for themselves, and maybe are having a hard time sharing in your experience of life because they're envious of that stage of life that you're in. But I guess what I would say in terms of whether or not you should call her out, is it how important the relationship is to you and how much it's affecting the relationship? Because it says a mutual friend in their circle.
Yeah.
So it doesn't sound like a bestie to me. I could be wrong, but it feels like just someone they know, and that it's a little bit uncomfortable. So if it were me, I wouldn't call it out if it wasn't a close friend. I don't think that it would be worth it. Not because you would be being dramatic, but just for me personally, if it's just like this acquaintance, I don't think that I would call it out. But if it's something that's really hurting you and you feel in this friendship dynamic is causing discomfort or making you kind of pull away from the friend group, or causing you to kind of be quiet when you're wanting to share and you're not able to be your authentic self, and it's really getting in the way of that, then absolutely say something. only keep it to yourself if you think that you can let it go and it's not going to impact your life and your friendships. If you feel that it is impacting your life and your friendships, you are not dramatic. And there is a way to say to her, like, hey, I feel like when I share these things with you, maybe you have like a comment that feels potentially negative, or like something I've said has upset you or put you off a little bit. And I would just love to open the door to talk about that and see how you're feeling. Because if it's a misunderstanding, I'd love to talk about it. But if you're really feeling that way, then I want to hear you out and kind of just see where the conversation goes, because it's not worth it to sit in discomfort in your friendships at all. And you should be able to talk about your life without feeling like there's going to be a negative comment said toward you. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I would say that is my advice. If you feel that it's impacting you, definitely say something. You're not dramatic. And maybe she's going through something in her own life. Maybe it's an opportunity to grow that friendship. You never know. It's very human to feel jealous. I think we talked about this on a recent episode. It's super human to be envious and jealous. And the way we deal with that is, it seems like she's struggling to deal with that in a good, friendly way, so maybe it's an opportunity for y'all to talk about that a little bit and relieve some of that tension. But what do you think?
Yeah, I hate passive aggressive stuff. So I don't know that I could keep it to myself. But it also depends on what it is. Like the two examples that you gave, I agree that those are very jealous sounding, I don't think that they're inherently evil or mean necessarily, but I could see why they kind of like rub you the wrong way. But I have a hard time keeping my thoughts to myself. If I'm feeling like discomfort, I feel like I would be more apt to kind of say what you said, Ken's, just open the door to say, or I might make it about me. I might say, it kind of hurts my feelings when you say that, because it makes me feel like maybe you're judging me for spending money on myself, or da-da-da-da-da, and am I reading too much into it? And I've also heard on TikTok, it doesn't really apply to those two statements, so maybe it doesn't fit here, but I have heard people say to use the advice when someone says a passive-aggressive kind of sarcastic comment to be like, what do you mean? And you make them like explain it. Like if they make kind of a passive-aggressive joke or something, say, I don't get it. Like, can you explain it? And it makes them uncomfortable because it kind of draws attention to it, and for them to actually think about, well, what was I implying by that comment just now? Because I think a lot of the time people don't
That's really good.
end up making comments. So I've always thought that that's a funny way to respond. Just play dumb and be like, what do you mean?
Yeah.
And you don't have to say it's sassy. You can say it normal,
Yeah.
I'm saying it's sassy to be funny, but I used to have ex-maid of honor, Crystal. Okay. This was, and I look back on it and I wish now that I had said something. I don't think that I ever said anything, and it was a recurring passive aggressive, like she would give lots of passive aggressive comments, right, Kenzie?
Yep.
But there was one direct line for me, and it was about me being a good disciplinarian, is what she would say.
Oh, yeah, or say you're so good at setting boundaries.
Yes, it would be that. So for me, her son was, had some behavior stuff at times. And I'm very stern with kids. I'm fun. My nieces love me, but I know how, or I just tend to be more, hey, we're not doing that right now. And I'm kind of like that. And when I'm talking about her son, he would throw things at my face, and like injure people. So I actually was scared when I was around him, because I was like, is he going to give me a bruise? Okay. Yeah. And we just kind of disagreed, because if he acted out violently a bit, I'd be like, you cannot throw things at people. And I would say in a stern voice, I didn't raise my voice. And she invited that in. I wasn't stepping on her parenting. Yeah. She was very much like, everybody help, raise the kids, so I wasn't stepping on her toes or anything like that. And he was my godson. Yeah. So there was also that. But she would always make these comments and say, you're such a good disciplinarian, such a good, wow, godmother is so good at disciplining. And I knew that it was It was a
It
little
was a jab.
jab, you know, like that she was kind of implying that I'm cold or I'm bad because she would just let everything
Go.
fly. Everything fly. Everything's good. Oh my gosh, I remember one time he put his feet in the dog bowls and he was getting stuff everywhere and he was acting like he was skiing and she's like, wow, you're so imaginative, you know, and I'm just like, oh my God, you know, but I mean, that's just different perspectives
Yes.
on parenting and stuff. You know, but that comment really hurt me. She said it so often.
Yeah.
And she would say it to him. You know, it's not like she was saying it to me. She'd be like, oh, wow, godmother is such a good disciplinarian.
Yep.
You know, and I wish in hindsight that I had said something. So I don't love passive aggressive behavior. Oh, and little story time, okay?
Yeah.
I don't know if I've ever shared this, but when I was nannying for, gosh, it's such a funny story. When I was nannying for that celebrity couple, okay, and their kids, guys, oh my gosh, when I first started nannying for them, these kids locked me out of the house on the first day. They had some behavior.
Classic.
No, it was horrible. And they had some behavior issues, and the parents knew. And the very first day, we went down to the hot tub. So here I am with these two kids I just met. We're in the hot tub. He's trying to like drown his sister, you know, and it's fine. It's fine.
Everything's fine.
Everything's fine. But I felt prepared. This was going to be fine. So we end up getting out of the hot tub. And he runs up the stairs, runs up and locks me out. So here I am with the other child and I'm trying to get in and he's, you know, making faces at me. And I went around to the front of the house and he wouldn't let me in. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm working for this famous couple and I got locked out of the house. What is he going to do? And I was so stressed out. And what was really crazy is that the first 2 weeks, it felt like every hour I was with these kids, I felt like I was drowning.
Yeah.
I felt like, okay, I don't know if I can do this long term because the behavior was rough, you know, but I loved them. They were so fun. These kids, I just adored them. And at the same time, crazy enough. But I realized something with this child that I needed to be really firm. So one thing that the parents had set up was if they did something bad, they would get 3 books at night. So if they did something bad, you would take away a book or you would take away a song. So they would lose their quote unquote privileges. So I would say, okay, you lost a privilege. You lost one of the books. And he would start wailing, getting on the floor, sobbing, you know, and I feel like this actually really worked for them because they cared so much about
the books.
About the books. I was like, wow, I'm surprised y'all care this much.
Children love the books.
The children love the books. So here I am, you know, I have this little boy, he's screaming on the floor, you know, I think he said he hated me. I mean, it was so dramatic and I'm going to tell my parents, you know, and and this is me. This is how I'm going to be when I'm a parent. I looked down at him and I was like, listen, I love you. You're not getting it back.
Yeah.
You're not. And he would wail and wail. And then after about 20 minutes, he was like, okay.
Yeah.
And he got over it. And then within a couple weeks of nannying these kids, they were totally different kids.
There you go.
And the parents were like, what did you do? And I was like, I just don't cave to them.
You don't give in.
I don't give in. And oh yeah, it was so funny. One time he was wailing and wailing and I said, I'm not going to give it back to you. Yeah, it was that time. And he immediately stopped. I'm remembering it now. He immediately stopped and said, oh, when I do that with my parents, they just give it back to me.
Yes.
And I was like, you little, you know, these kids know, you know?
Yeah.
So typically I would just remind him, hey, your tears do nothing for me.
Yeah.
It is what it is. And
Yeah.
these kids ended up loving me. And then they wanted me to go out to LA to be their nanny because we all just bonded so much and their behavior was so much better. But that's just what I've learned with kids is that kids, and I'm not talking corporal punishment, not talking James Dobson, okay? But kids, yeah, and whatever about that man, focus on the family. Everybody's tagging me in that. But kids like structure.
Yeah, they do.
They do like structure. Even if they are upset about it for a little bit, I really do think those kids started thriving with
Yes.
structure and rules. And not to say their parents weren't doing that. They were. I just, you know what I mean. But
I do. No, I get it. And it's harder to when you're a parent, I think, like, especially when they're little, it's so hard and you're drowning. It's different when you are a caregiver as a profession because you get to leave at the end of the day. I'm learning this with like my situation because I'm currently a caregiver and we're dealing with some behavior issues. And I basically told them, I was like, okay, guys, it's getting intense. So that means we have to ramp up on the firmness. Like, this doesn't mean anything is too crazy. He's definitely 3, but like we have to set boundaries and it has to look like this. So I let them know what I was going to be doing to get their approval. But same thing, I'll let him go. I just let him cry and cry. And the first couple days that we started this, because behaviors have just kind of started with him, he did the same thing to me. He goes, I'll just wait till my dad gets down here because his dad works from home. So he's like, I'll just wait till my dad gets down here. And I was like, baby, we'll be waiting all day then. Right. Cause like, we're going to do it. Yeah. Let's go toe to toe. And now, I mean, it literally, I was crying every day because I was thinking, how long is this going to last? I'm so exhausted. But this week has been like so good. He's like, it's not, I mean, he literally has learned once Mackenzie walks into the house, it's like, okay, I might as well just have a good day. Like, I might as well just get with it, and then we have fun, and it's great.
exactly.
So they definitely thrive. And you're right. It's not corporal punishment. It doesn't take anything serious. It's literally just saying, this is how it is. I love you. I'm not changing my mind. And then just coming back to that every time. I hear you. I'm not changing my mind.
Yeah, and that's why no, actually, I feel this way, so I'm going to say it. Not a fan of spanking. Not a fan of spanking.
No,
and
no.
I feel like, and I'm going to take what that family did and apply it to our children when I have it, because it actually worked so well. And I don't, the privileges thing, it worked really well to take away the privileges and to stand firm on it. And who knows, I think it has to be something your kid cares about.
Yes.
They really cared about books and songs. I would not have cared about that as a kid. So I'm like, I'll just have to find the thing that my kid will not want to lose. And then you kind of firmly take it away if they act out. And but all that to say, yes, my ex-maid of honor, she would say I was such a good disciplinarian. And it's because my godson's tears like didn't work on me. I would say, you know, you can't hit people. Sorry, bro. Like, you know, you can't do that.
Exactly. And no amount of crying is going to make hitting okay.
Yeah. Wow, we got so off topic.
Yeah.
That was all about passive aggressive friends.
For anyone who wants to know what we think about parenting young children, there you go.
There's my unsolicited advice from someone who doesn't have children. So
I love it.
let me just remind you, I don't have children, so we'll see how I feel down the line. But this is what I feel so far.
Yeah, absolutely. Wow. Okay. Is that our last one?
That was our last one.
Oh, okay. We got off on a tangent and that's great.
Yeah. Well, do you want to go first or should I go first with our little overshare moment of the week?
Yeah, I'll go first.
Okay.
So my daughter is 11 and I've had a lot of acting overshares recently. And I've always thought about my kids. I have 2 daughters. I'm talking specifically about my oldest one because it's about her. But I've always had this approach, like I'm not going to try to dictate with what my kids love or what they enjoy. And so I'm very much like, take the approach with extracurricular activities. Like, this is the point in your life where you try 5 million things, you throw spaghetti at the wall and see what sticks. I'm not going to make you do soccer for the entire year of 2nd grade if you hate it, but you're going to finish the season. Like, I make them finish the thing, but I don't make them stick with it because I feel when they're this young, this is the time where they need to be finding out what they like and dislike. Yeah. You don't need to force them to do anything. That's my opinion. I also don't force, and this might be something that I could be swayed on. So if you hear this, any listeners write in and be like, this is why you're wrong, or this is why you're right, that would be great. I have heard a lot of people say, I make my kid do one like sport or physical activity, extracurricular, and then one creative, like music or something, and they have to do one at all times. I don't do that. I understand, I think, why people do that because they think it's good to be well-versed in both things or they want them to dabble in both things. And I do understand them importance of creativity and music and art and the importance of physical activity and sportsmanship and being on a team. I, however, do not think that everyone is supposed to be doing both. And I feel that way because maybe how I was raised, my dad let me choose what I wanted, and I always chose creative things. And I just feel like that was right for me. Like if I had been forced to play basketball or forced to do a sport just because my dad like thought that I should be a part of a team, I think that would have harmed me and only split my attention and not given me the best chance at focusing on what I truly loved. So if my daughters wanted to play football, I would let them. If they want to do tap dancing, I'd let them. They don't have to do both at one time. And they don't have to learn an instrument, right? Just whatever they want. So my oldest came home. She just started school a couple weeks ago. And she came home, or I took her to a doctor's appointment the other day. And we're talking on the way to the doctor's appointment. And she nonchalantly, out of nowhere, just tells me, yeah, I was like, so what's up? Like, how's it going? And she's like, yeah, so I wrote a play and I have a group of friends and we're all working together and we all have jobs. We've cast it and there's a makeup artist and a costume designer and someone who wants to be the stage manager. And she was like, we're going to do it. And you're going to be getting a text message soon from one of the kids who's going to like put us in a group chat with all the parents one of the kids who has all the parents' numbers so that you guys can be in on the loop. And we're going to want to do Zoom calls and rehearse and then hopefully rehearse at people's houses. And like, we just want to like make this happen hopefully by the end of the year or maybe into the summer. And so I'm sitting there and I'm like, absolutely, like whatever you want to do sounds good. I'm in it. I'm over here like just completely gushing. I want to whisper while I say this because I don't want her to hear me because she's in this house. She's not listening anyway, but just to be sure, I don't want her to know how excited I am or that like this is the best thing that she could ever love to do because this is like my number one passion. And I'm not going to be a stage mom. I'm not going to live vicariously through my children. I'm not going to force them to have passions that I have because I want them to. And she's over here like writing plays and directing and has this whole group and they're doing it all themselves. It's just a bunch of like 11 to 13-year-old kids. And they were just on a Zoom call in the other room when we started recording this. And I'm listening to them talk about their ideas and I'm gushing. I'm gushing.
So sweet.
And on the side, I'm like texting all of my director friends and I'm like, okay, so like, is the Tobin available? Like, how are we going to make this happen? Because I just want to try. Yeah. And I asked her tonight at dinner, I was like, how involved do you want me to be in this? Like, do you want me to be involved or not? And she's like, said a few things that she wants me to be involved in. And I was like, okay, cool. So I have the green light to like kind of have things in the wings in case she's like, we need a space to perform this. It doesn't necessarily have to be someone's backyard. Like maybe it could be a cool theater. So like, I don't know. I'm just so excited. I'm just so excited. And I have this amazing director friend who started her own production company. And I texted her and I was like, listen, this could go nowhere, but I just need you to know about this, that my kid's doing this. And there's like 13 of them at her school who's like, they're doing it full on. And she was like, give me a call this weekend. And if it does turn into anything and they want to keep doing it and she wants to make it like a regular thing, then we can try to get kids in the theater community to kind of join in. And so I'm like, whatever happens. She might do it and hate it. It might fizzle out in 2 weeks. But
it's
if
so
she
exciting.
loves it and if she wants to do it, I'm here to enjoy all of the steps and watch from the sidelines.
This is so her.
I know.
This is so your daughter. She is one of the most intelligent kids I've ever met. I'm like, of course she wrote a play. Of course she did that. What did she do? She's done stuff like this before. She wrote a song. That was one thing that she did at one point. Because didn't she was in songwriting classes.
Yep.
She's so imaginative and amazing.
She also is an organizer. So she likes to start things and like bring people. She loves anything collaborative. When she was in second grade, she started a support group for kids who suffer from anxiety. And like she started that and got the the counselor that was on staff at her school to like every single week they met. And I just think that it's kind of part of her thing, like who she is as a person, to not only be creative, but also to organize groups of people and be collaborative. And another beautiful win is that my youngest daughter was like, I want to be involved. Like, can I make the ticket booth and like make the tickets, and I can be she said, the accountant. And like when y'all do fundraising, cause they want to do all their own fundraising. They want to fundraise for their props and their costumes. They're talking about what kind of fundraisers they can do. And so my youngest daughter is like, I will be the keeper of the money, and I'll make sure you guys stay on budget and you know how much you have to spend and where you're going to spend your money. And my daughter brought her into the beginning of the rehearsal today and like told everyone like, this is the job that my sister wants. And so now she's going to be a part of it. And I'm just sitting here like, this is so cool. And Luca,
this is the best. My
fiance, they like walked out of dinner to go do their rehearsal. And he looked at me and he was like, what happened? They like went to 5th and 6th grade and suddenly they're high schoolers. Like they're just like doing their own thing and they don't need our help anymore. And I was like, yeah, it's kind of cool to watch.
So crazy.
So that's my overshare. I'm really excited. And I will not be disappointed. If it all falls through and they decide they, don't care about it, that's fine. But it's so fun to watch your kids like figure out what they want and what they like and try it themselves, so much so that they're organizing with their friends without adults. Like I love it.
Yes. She's cool. Such a go-getter.
Yes.
She's going to change the world.
I think so too.
Like in a real way.
Yeah, I think so too.
Not in the Bethel way. So
no. Yeah, so that's my overshare. What about you?
Oh my goodness. Okay, let's see. Ooh, this is going to be an overshare / advice. So I'll let you know when I need your advice. But tomorrow, this is very cute. We are going over to my parents' house and we are going to have a movie night because my parents are leaving on a cruise pretty soon. And my parents are so cute, guys. I don't know. They are very loved up and just so in love with each other. And it's adorable. They've been going on so many dates. And they ended up getting a giant TV for our room that used to be called the pool room. We used to have a pool table in there, but we still call it the pool room. Don't know why. They got a giant TV for the pool room and he got a sound bar. So they got it so that they could watch movies there and that it could be like a mini movie theater. So because they're going on the cruise, my dad sent out this text in the middle of the night and said, is anybody free this weekend? We will buy all of the food, whatever you guys want, and we can watch a movie together as family. And Bran and I were like, absolutely, let's do it. So, one of my sisters has to work and the other one will be there. So it's going to be fun. We're going to have a little movie night and I think we're going to watch The Matrix.
Cool.
Yeah. So I barely remember it. I think I watched it with my cousins when I was 13, but I didn't retain any of it. So, but when I went in the movie room, I saw that it was so cute, this little yellow notepad, and it had all of the movies that they've watched together.
Shut up.
No, my mom has been writing them down on a piece of paper every time they watch it, and they're tracking
that sounds
it.
like you and Bran.
Yes. Okay, so this is where the advice might need to come in because they've been writing them all down and a lot of them are older movies and they've just been bonding and it's been so cute. So when Brandon and I first got together, we watched so many movies. So what you guys need to know about my husband is that he is such a movie buff. I'm so serious, probably watches 5 to 10 movies a week. And
what?
Yeah. Yeah, he's obsessed with movies, Ken's. He is always...
my gosh.
Yeah, he's either at Alamo Drafthouse or just...
Wait, you're talking about in, like, the theater?
No, not always. But he does go there, but he'll watch movies at home. He'll watch movies, not watch them, but he'll listen to them when he's in the car, and it's just... He just loves movies. So the other night, he watched a movie at 10 p.m., and it was a work night, so he had to wake up really early, watch a movie at 10 p.m., and then was like, there's time for another movie. So he stayed up till 3 a.m, watched another movie. And I hate movies. I am not the biggest fan of movies
Okay,
because
why?
it feels like a commitment to sit down and watch movies feel long. And yeah, so there's a layer of that, but Brand has a good point. He's like, well, you would also sit and watch 3 episodes of a show,
Okay,
which
that's what I was
is
gonna ask. Can you binge watch a show?
yes.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, so I know I'm wrong. Okay. I know
It's
it
not right or
feels like a
wrong.
commitment. It's not my favorite thing in the world, and I feel like all of the movies. This sounds so silly, but I feel like all the movies I was interested in seeing, I've seen them because when we first started dating, we watched so many movies. I have a Google sheet because, of course, I do, and we have watched over 265 movies together. Yeah. So I'm not over here not watching movies.
Honestly, I think Luca and I have maybe watched like 5.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
But
So
we've watched so many shows. So keep going, keep going.
yeah, so we used to watch a lot more, but we kind of made our way through our list because we started dating during COVID, so it was a lot of movies, and we were excited to show each other movies that the other one hadn't seen. So at this point, I'm like, I've watched them all. I'm good. I'm done. But the main issue, and this is where the advice comes in, okay, is that I legitimately have so much trauma and I talk about heavy things for work on social media constantly, and when I watch things I only want to watch funny things. I only want to watch happy things, and he is so different than me. He loves dramas, very serious, very heavy, and that's kind of all he wants to watch.
Okay.
So yeah, that's been a struggle because we're just so different in the type of content that we like. Like, I even tried to watch The Bear. I think that's what it's called.
Okay.
That cooking show, but it's a family drama.
Yes.
I actually got triggered by that show and cried. And I was not really interested in watching it. And this bleeds over into shows too, because I feel like we don't have much of an overlap of he likes sitcoms, but he doesn't want it to only be sitcoms. So
Yeah.
one good compromise is White Lotus. I
It's a good one.
love White Lotus. I can handle that because I can handle a murder mystery kind of vibe. And right now I'm watching Severance. It's really good, but it's definitely on the I can barely handle it
Okay.
kind of vibe. So
Okay.
I try to do as much as I possibly can, but I will actually get triggered by movies and TV shows. And I tell him the problem is when I watch really heavy content, it stays in my brain forever.
Yeah.
And it's heavy to me because I will see those flashes of like disturbing images and those scenes, and it will mess with me. So yeah, I guess my advice is, or what I would like advice for is how to watch more movies again, because I saw my parents' list. I thought it was so cute, and I want to be like that.
Yeah.
But I just feel like we're so different on movies, and also we're just so busy. I think that's the other thing too, is that I often have something every night.
Yeah.
And so does he. He is band practice twice a week. So we only have one night a week to watch TV or a movie, and most of the time I would rather watch TV than a movie.
Yeah, than a
Because
movie.
it feels like a commitment.
Okay. So it sounds twofold to me because you're saying like it's the commitment, but also it's the content. So there's two things
both.
happening here.
Yeah.
So I think that maybe you already know this, because when I think of White Lotus, I'm like, okay, that's really good. It is murder mystery, but it's not like there's heavier moments. Like there are things that happen. So do you know the pattern of like, this is the stuff that triggers me? Or is it, you don't really know when it's going to happen or what it's going to be about? It just does. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I do. I think suicide really triggers me.
Okay.
Any content around that, I've had so many loved ones who've dealt with those thoughts that I find the whole thing and myself, I find the whole thing very triggering. I think I can handle murder mysteries because I listen to true crime. So like those sorts of things where it's like, is that person crazy or who did it? It feels like Clue to me. I can do stuff like that. But I think it's the heavy family dramas because I have a lot of trauma, around
Okay.
like heavy stuff like that.
Okay. So this is what I would do, and I'm not saying it's the right thing to do because I don't know, but I would, and it might not work with Brand because he doesn't really drink. Anyway, okay. So this is what I would do if it was me and Luca. This is what I would do. Okay. I would put into chat. Have you talked to chat about this?
I have.
Oh,
No,
do you
but
still want to hear what I'm going to say?
yes, I do. Of course I do.
Okay. Okay. So I would put into chat like the entire scenario. I would explicitly say, like, these are the things that trigger me. I absolutely cannot do these things, right?
Which I haven't done that, so that's good.
Okay,
advice.
so
Yeah.
I would say like specifically these bullet points are the things I cannot watch, and then also bullet point, but I can handle this middle ground, right? And I do like this, and then you could also in that same message say for Bran, this is the type of stuff that he likes to watch. This is what he's really interested in, and the kinds of movies that he wants to share with me. We need to find a middle ground. That's the first thing I would do. And then for the content piece and see
Yes.
what options it gives, like for movies that might potentially work for him and for you.
Yeah.
Then to make it fun, I would be like, great. What game, since I hate movies and the commitment is too long and I need to feel like there's some sort of payout for me to be sitting here doing this, I would say, give me a drinking game or give me, I know. Or I'd be like, give me a like strip movie experience where like every time this happens, like a piece of clothing comes off. I
That's
know this sounds
hilarious.
crazy.
I'm obsessed.
But I would do something like kind of extreme to make that seem like we're not just sitting down and wasting 2.5 hours of our lives, but we're like
Yeah.
intentionally doing something fun together and interacting together. And also like this movie is
He would
happening.
love that.
Would he?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
No, he's so chill. He's
Yeah.
very I mean, yeah, he'll get me a drink sometimes when we do and stuff. But no, that's a great idea. And actually, how I found White Lotus and Severance was through asking chat that, because I think I was asking specifically for TV shows at that time, because I said I only like sitcoms, but. If you guys haven't seen it, there is this amazing show. I loved it called Defending Jacob.
I've never seen it.
Oh, it's so good. It's with Chris Evans, and basically his son is accused of murdering someone, and his son is 14, maybe, and he's the DA of the town. So it's
Wait. Is it Bryan Cranston? The main actor, the guy from
I don't think so. No.
Okay, Malcolm in the Middle. Okay.
Yeah, but it was so good. And the whole series is kind of like, did his son do it? Or
Yeah.
is he falsely accused? And then the dad feels guilty for even thinking, did my kid do this? So
Yeah.
I loved stuff like that. I can
Cool.
handle Gone Girl. I can handle kind of like thrillery
Yeah.
kind of vibes. So that's how I got White Lotus and Severance, because I said, can I handle this? And chat told me I could. So
Okay. Yeah.
yeah. So yeah, I need to do that with the movies though, and explicitly say what my triggers are and try to make it a fun experience, because I also think a lot of it has to, not like being down on myself, but like my mindset and my attitude about it is, in my mind I have it in this sector of I don't like this.
Yes.
And I need to try to reframe it.
Yeah.
You know, because it's not like every time we watch movies I don't like it. I mean, we go to Draft House a lot. I think it's specifically watching movies at home I find boring.
Yeah. That's why I was like, maybe find like some sort of fun game that y'all can
Yeah.
like do for the movie. But also I have some movie suggestions. I mean, I'm not going to give them to you now, but if you ever want to
Yes.
hear them,
would love that.
I'm not a big movie watcher either. I
Yeah.
love shows. I love shows. Luca and I binge shows, show after show after show. We're like back to back. We love our series. But movies, I feel the same way, and I don't know what that is. It's like an attention span thing. I'm like, I have to sit here, but then I'll watch 2 hours of my favorite show. So
Exactly.
it is a mindset for sure.
Yeah. I need to enjoy them. And I think I'm such a type A person. I love checklists. So I think seeing my mom's little notebook made me
Yeah.
excited to
do
do
that.
it. Because I'm like, oh, I can start the spreadsheet again,
Yeah.
and do that whole thing. And
You
then,
know what you could also do is make a list of the genres that you guys watch and like write them down in genre, and then you guys should rate them, like what your favorite was, and like give it like
yeah.
5-star review or whatever. And
Yeah.
then just see like what you like.
I told him we should start a movie podcast or something.
Because then you have to.
Then I have to. Well, okay, I'm afraid nobody would ever listen to it. But the reason I had this idea is I listen to true crime, and there is this podcast that I love called Murder with My Husband.
Uh-huh.
And the whole premise is that she loves true crime and he hates it. And she tells him a true crime story every week, and he hates true crime. Like, he genuinely does. So I was like, we could do a podcast where it's like movies I made my wife watch kind of podcast, and that way it's like I have to watch a movie with you.
I love that. I
Yeah.
love that idea. Maybe that's the one.
Or even a TikTok. I'm like, why not?
Okay, wait, but can I ask you?
Yeah.
So we're supposed to get together and have our date and watch Everything Everywhere
Which is my favorite movie of all time.
all at once?
Everything Everywhere All at Once. If you guys have not seen it, it is my favorite movie of all time.
Okay, so what about that movie is like exciting to you versus like a regular movie? Is it just the content is so good?
The content is so good. I can't tell you. It gives it all away.
Okay. Then,
It makes me feel alive. It's one of those
okay.
where you're
Cool.
like, oh, to be alive,
So it's like a once in a lifetime kind of film. It's not like every other movie.
That is how I feel. Actually, I know I'm
Yeah.
hyping it up way too much, but I actually feel like it does live up to the hype. All right. Well, that was my overshare. I have some advice myself. So
Yay.
I will try to put it into practice. Maybe I'll overshare a month from now and let you guys know how my spicy game goes.
How'd it go? I know. I'm like,
So
this is my advice. You're like, thanks, Kens. Great. Get naked. It's
great.
Perfect.
I love it. No, he will love that idea. So.
Okay, well, we love you guys. Thanks for joining us on this episode of the Overshare Hour. It is the highlight of my week. And yeah, and thank you for giving me an opportunity to see my best friend every week, too.
I
Because
know,
we
it's
wouldn't.
the best. And also, the episode next week is going to be a fully religious trauma episode. So it is going to be around that content. And I'm also going to put that in the Healedish feed. And then Kenzie is going to share her story on Healedish. So we tried to record it the other night. It was supposed to be coming out this week. And this was supposed to be the religious trauma episode. But unfortunately, the internet went out or there was some sort of technical difficulties. So thankfully, it saved. Thank God.
Thank God.
And we
was
probably
panicking.
just have like 30 minutes left. So
Yeah.
we're going to finish recording that and that will be out the next week.
Yay. Yeah, please listen. And also don't forget that we do have a Patreon. We share bonus stories every month, extra bonus stories just from our submissions, really juicy ones. And then also we are doing Reddit stories. So we find our favorite Reddit stories that we think we want to give our hot take on. And that is there. So if you are interested, please head over. We love you guys so much. And please like, share, and save. Please leave a
And
review.
leave a
If it's
review.
good.
Please, please, please.
good.
A good review.
It really helps us stay here. And you guys are
If
the
you
best.
don't like it. Yeah, if you don't like it, don't tell us.
Yeah. Keep it to yourself.
All right. Yeah. All right. We will see you guys next week. Bye.
See you next week. Bye.